time for Sports on the Bayou, a detailed account of the sports scene in Louisiana. Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Marty will break down the weekly Saints game, brought to you by the American flag, as well as the St. Martin and Bourke weekly LSU breakdown. Harry McCullough will bring us the Louisiana's Cajun Bayou Lafourche Parish segment, featuring key games of local interest. Dr. Pat, our favorite ENT, is always on top of the
asking all them questions. Why you asking all them questions? Make a statement.
Stan Graba will bring us local pertinent medical sports information as well as high school sports. Martin False, that's me, will open up the mics in the crowd to see what's on the fans' mind. More talk and plenty of audience questions. Live from the Eugene and Lorraine Falls studios in Houma, Louisiana, it's time for Sports on the Bayou. And here's Mike Detillier.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another version of Sports on the Bayou. Man, what a weekend. Mike Detillier along with the Cajun Cannon, Bobby Hebert, Rich Marty. We got a lot to talk about, and we'll be right back after these commercials. Let's play here on Sports on the Bayou.
Over the years, Louisiana's Cajun Bayou has seen more than its fair share of challenges. We're no strangers to adversity, and we know what it's like to struggle. These are unprecedented times, and while people will say this time is like nothing they've ever seen, we've heard that before. And just like all the other times, we'll get through this. Remember the good times. Remember Lafourche.
My role models would have to be my whole family. They push me to be my best on and off the field constantly. Here at South Terrebonne, my extracurricular activities are football, basketball, and baseball. In my free time, I enjoy spending time with family, working out, and fishing.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. You'll remember Lafourche. And by St. Martin and Bourke, attorneys at law. Know your rights. Sports on the Bayou corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, i.e. Terrebonne General Health Systems and their Community Sports Institute. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. And BioPure, disinfecting environmental services. Now let's go back to Sports on the Bayou with Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Marty.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou. Before we talk about Saints Falcons, want to miss Lorraine the best. A little bit under the weather and couldn't join us today, but we're thinking about you, Miss Lorraine, and we'll see you real soon. Guys, man, what a disappointment. 27-25 loss. For 3.5 quarters, basically the Saints sleptwalk through the entire game. And then all of a sudden, the jumper cables got put on them. You scored 3 touchdowns in less than 7 minutes. And you say, I can't believe this is the most Falcons way to lose a game. And then you lose it in the most Falcons way with the big play from Matt Ryan. And Carlson Adebo, Cordell Patterson beats Adebo in the deep pass.
Well, the first play of the game, they should have scored it.
Yeah, pitch was wide open.
When you see that, you kind of say, uh-oh, what's happening here? And it just went for 3.5 quarters. But we were at the game that had alumni weekend, which I want to thank the Saints for having all us old guys over there. It's kind of getting a little discouraging going now because everyone's getting pretty old looking. They can barely get in and out of their chairs. But you don't have to worry about that yet, Bobby. But there was no energy.
About 5 years.
Another couple of years, you'll catch up.
Yep.
But there was no energy anywhere in the stadium for 3.5 quarters. And I had an old wrestling coach that used to say, when you get turned over and you see the tiles, it's time to hit the panic button. And the Saints didn't do it until it was a little too late.
Well, when you look at it, Mike, what is the key? You got to get after Matt Ryan. I'm telling you, Matt Ryan would be a stud in Sean Payton's offense.
I love Matt Ryan.
Because we have an outstanding offensive line, and then you got Alvin Kamara. I just think Matt Ryan, all I know is, what was the key, Mike? We got to sack him 3 times or more.
Yeah, because in the last 11 games, in the 6 games the Saints have won, they've sacked him 34 times.
Now think about that.
In the 5 games that they've lost, 7.
Well, and you look at Matt Ryan, he torched the Saints for 343 yards, and this has to bother Sean Payton. Even though our defense, and we build upon, our defense, special teams, we could always win in those areas. But the games we've lost, look at the Giants game, look at the Atlanta game, we get freaking torched. We gave up all of a sudden explosive plays, 49, 39, 34 yards, and at the end, 64 yards. Mike, those chunk plays, that's what the Giants did, and that's what Atlanta did. And Matt Ryan, he's good enough to beat you if that comes about. And it was very discouraging because how about we just freaking catch the ball? At the beginning of the game, we're going to set the tone. We gash them with the run. We're not just going to run every play. You're in scoring position. If you just catch the ball in the first half, then we set the tone and we discourage Atlanta to even have a chance to win.
They're not paying them enough to catch the ball, Bobby.
Come on, they're pro, Rich.
Rich,
even if you weren't paid enough, if it hit you in your hands, I'd say, come on, Rich, you got to catch it.
I had to catch the ball. If I dropped one, I'd have been cut.
Yeah, right.
I didn't have the luxury.
So you got to, that's what's
Other than Deontay Harris, think about, is there any other guy on this team goes to another team and he's one of the top 3 or 4?
No threat.
He may be the 5th receiver.
No, there might be like Callaway, like a 4th guy, maybe a 3rd.
Callaway's pushing the 4.
Yeah,
I mean, he's really pushing it. Because he's done nothing.
And then you got a tight end that you're counting on, Adam Troutman. Are you kidding me? Because Sean Payton knows how to get the tight end to football, but he's missing balls.
Okay, he came into the league with the reputation of as a really good receiver and a so-so blocker. Now he's a really good blocker and a so-so receiver. So
Yeah, you can't count on him. So the bottom line is we're on a roller coaster type season. When the teams
it's
think
the yo-yo.
They're not going to have a chance. Like we underdog against the Titans. I don't know, we might win. But then the teams they've lost to, like how did we lose to them? Like you look at Carolina, how that went out.
Giants.
But the
and now
Giants
Falcons.
and Atlanta. So that's where we're at right now. Now we get in the meat of the schedule. Coming up with the Titans, Mike, that's going to be a challenge to win on the road there. But
It's going to be a real punch in the face.
You don't think they're going to win? They're going to win. Watch.
We'll go to the highlights of the Saints' loss to the Falcons early on. Drive stalls out. Brian Johnson, man.
The kicker looks good.
Yeah, he may have found another one there. So it's 17-6. Trevor back to pass. Pressure. Guy beats Teron Armstead.
Okay, I'm not just taking it for the quarterback. That's Teron Armstead's fault. Teron Armstead is too good to get beat that quick.
And I give Traquan a lot of credit. He ran him down out in the open field.
He sprinted from down to like the 20-yard line, 30-yard line.
And then this is, one of the few good catches you'll see from Adam Troutman.
Yeah,
one
they
of the
all
few
caught
catches.
the ball in the 4th quarter, but catch it from the beginning.
And then Trevor, bang. Callaway makes the score. So all of a sudden now you say, man, you got a shot here. And then again, another drive. Alvin Kamara right up the middle for the score. And you wondered a little bit, because we've seen this with the Falcons, them lose big leads late in the 4th quarter.
And Mike, you might question how we ran the 2-point play and what we were doing as far as to try and convert. But overall, you can't question Sean Payton as far as what he's done so far in the red zone.
Then Trevor, man, puts it right in a tight window.
That was like
in for the score to Kenny Stills, and you say, man, how did you get to this point where you have a lead? They go for it on the 2-point conversion, and Kamara sort of slips on that play. But I think even if he's standing, he doesn't get in. They didn't show the big, long play, but that was the killer with Cordell Patterson, who's been sort of a wingback guy. Remember back when that was a big position? He plays running back, wide receiver.
They call it a back. in Washington with the Redskins.
Well,
H-back. It was H-back, rather. I'm sorry.
But to me, Trevor Siemian, if you look at it, that's not the reason why we lost. Everybody wants Taysom and all that. We need more weapons. I can see Sean Payton utilizing Taysom Hill. But he was 11 of his 15 passes, 111 yards, a pair of touchdowns when he rallied the Saints to come back.
We'll be back with more sports on the Bayou.
Was your business interrupted by Hurricane Ida? You may be entitled to compensation. Insurance companies may try to pay you much less than your losses, or even deny your claim altogether. St. Martin and Bork and Hafiz Duval are partnering together to fight for your fair payout. Go to myidaclaim.com for your free case review today. Never give up because your insurance company has denied your claim, and never accept a lowball offer. Let St. Martin and Bork and Hafiz Duval help you weather the storm. Visit myidaclaim.com today.
Here at South Louisiana Bank, we support our neighbors, the organizers, the helpers, the leaders, the dreamers. We support those that move our community forward. Louisiana has grown from the dedication, commitment, and loyalty of the people who call this beautiful place home. We are proud to offer our services to the communities in South Louisiana. South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. You'll remember Lafourche. And by St. Martin and Bork, attorneys at law. Know your rights. Sports on the Bayou corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, i.e. Terrebonne General Health Systems and their Community Sports Institute. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Alford & Associates for all of your insurance needs. And BioPure, disinfecting environmental services. Now let's go back to Sports on the Bayou with Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Marty.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou, guys. Great defensive effort by LSU, 20-14. I got a call from Dave Hilbert from the Silver Slipper Saturday morning. Rich, I told you about it.
Right.
The point spread had went from 28 to 29.5. He says, you want to put a coin on it? I was like, man, I just can't do it. I just can't do it. And it went back to 28. But for that brief moment, it was 29.5, man.
Mike, you know that I don't gamble.
I thought about it.
You know I don't gamble.
I thought about it.
I came this close to calling you because Coach O is a motivator, and you know what? He's not. He wants to show everybody. You know what? We could do this. He had those guys pumped. He really did. He had them pumped to play.
And if you saw the camera swirl to him at the end of the first quarter, he mouthed that they didn't come to play tonight.
Right.
They didn't come to play tonight. And so, he said yesterday at the press conference, hey, we were the better team. We just didn't finish it off offensively. But, man, really played great on defense. And when's the last time Alabama's been held to 6 yards rushing?
Right.
No, Mike, when you talk about 6 yards rushing, the lowest single game total of Coach Saban's tenure. That's never happened. That's the first time that's ever happened. And when you look at LSU, you remember LSU's stunning last year defeat of Florida when they won 37-34. They were a 23-point underdog then and ended up winning. And then you remember the 17-13 upset of Alabama in 1993. They were a 25-point road dog. So if you look at that track record, you maybe should have took the points in the Tigers.
And I could kick myself. You know why? I had word that their starting center was not in the lineup. They had moved their guard to starting center. You saw that poor dude? Man, he looked like a baby raccoon out in the field. He didn't know who to block. Hey, he would go here, they would go there. He'd go here, he was swung all over. And you could see LSU knew it, and they were coming after him right up the middle, and pop goes the run, nothing, and then they were after BJ.
Now, let me ask you this. Did Coach O earn a spot on Saban's coaching staff?
I don't think he'll ever coach again.
I don't think so either.
I don't think he'll ever coach.
Just curious. Saban has a record of doing that, doesn't he?
So maybe 2023. That's down the road.
That's too far.
And then the fake punt here come right off the bat. Fred Shoney Mashburn makes the big play downfield. And man, you say, wait a minute now. Things are starting to happen. Then Max throws it out in the flat, gets the touchdown. And Brian Thomas Jr. really doing a nice job. True freshman.
If the Saints had a tenth of that excitement that LSU had, they'd have won that game by 35 points.
And Bryce hands it up inside. Brian Robinson goes in for the score, so it's 7-7. And you say, man, oh, here
well,
comes.
you could have went at halftime 7-7, Mike.
Yeah. And then Max back to pass. Throws it downfield. It gets tipped, and it's intercepted. Young man who actually tipped it, Harris, is from Baton Rouge, the linebacker. Tipped it up right into the defensive back's hands. And then Bryce throws it. Man, when he has time to throw the football, he can throw it. He's got a nice arm. But he was under duress a lot of the night. And then, big play here.
Yeah.
Because you move it in for a score, the ball gets stripped from Tyron Davis-Price and sets up a short field for the Alabama Crimson Tide.
You can't turn the ball over.
No, not against them. Not against them.
Well, yeah, it led to 13 points when you look at it.
And then, bang, you saw it. Bryce back to pass, throws it downfield to a guy that was a backup at Ohio State. You don't think Ohio State's got some talent at wide receiver? Man, that guy looked to be open all day long. But Young couldn't get him the football. So Max, back to pass, throws it over the middle. Complete.
Wide open.
Yeah, that's high school open. And he gets it down to the 9-yard line. And again, Max, back to pass, throws it. Nice little cut inside and then right over the top. And LSU gets the score with Jack Besh.
Well, Jack Besh has been a pleasant surprise.
Been a really good player for them. And, man, I just wish he could have scored on this damn play.
Yeah, a little bit faster.
Gets down to the 7-yard line, and the drive stalls out. And they tried for it on 4th down, and Max was just off. But then they get the strip here of Young. They get the ball right back with 3 minutes, 30 seconds left in the football game. LSU's defense really played well. On a 1st and 10 play, Max back to pass, and he's getting pressured now. And this is the last play of the game. He throws it up. It's incomplete. The one guy LSU could not block, I said it all week, Will Anderson. Man, that guy was an unbelievable player. We had Eli Gold on with us, who's the voice of Alabama. And his thing is, Mike, they are comparing him to Derek Thomas.
Oh.
Now, when you get compared to Derek Thomas at Alabama, he's just a sophomore. LSU was in the hunt for him. He's a Georgia kid, and, man, he was a playmaker.
Well, he had 12 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, and a sack and a half. Like, we all talked about him.
And he is one heck of a player.
But you look at Alabama, the first time this season, they went into the game ranked 2nd in the nation scoring, but at 46 points a game. And they was blanked in the first quarter, and look at their point total. So you got to give LSU a lot of credit. There's no, I guess, moral victories, but this was somewhat a moral victory because everyone thought LSU was going to get crushed.
Absolutely, everybody thought it. We'll be back with more sports on the
Bayou. Over the years, Louisiana's Cajun Bayou has seen more than its fair share of challenges. We're no strangers to adversity, and we know what it's like to struggle. These are unprecedented times, and while people will say this time is like nothing they've ever seen, we've heard that before. And just like all the other times, we'll get through this. Remember the good times. Remember Lafouche.
If you have nasal breathing difficulties, snoring, mouth breathing, gritting and grinding of your teeth, TMJ, or headaches during the day, along with fatigue, depression, weight gain, you may have sleep apnea, which can easily be diagnosed via an in-office visit and home sleep study. If you or a loved one are having these symptoms and it's impacting your life, please schedule an appointment with us for an evaluation.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. You'll remember Lafouche. And by St. Martin and Bork, attorneys at law. Know your rights. Sports on the Bayou corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, i.e. Terrebonne General Health Systems and their Community Sports Institute. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. And BioPure, disinfecting environmental services. Now let's go back to Sports on the Bayou with Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Marty.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou. Martin, you got it.
Well, it's a big day. Not only the naming sponsor, St. Martin and Bork, and all of Lafourche Parish and what they do. And we got Chet Chesson in the house today, too, with Fouchon. But you know what, man? Look, I see Coach Rebo. I see names all over the place. But you know why it's really big? Because, folks, Bobby Hebert paid me money that he owed me. Take a picture, Mr. Parish President.
Well, I thought it was $10, Bobby. I had to get to 20.
Well,
Did you double down on him?
No, you had to pay him interest.
I had to pay him $1.80, so I want my $9 back.
Per day.
I'm going to make you wait on that $9.
No,
I'm going to frame the 20, and I'm going to give you $9 on the
I'll wait.
side.
Martin, you take care of me, so I'm not bitching.
Yet.
You're right. All right, so I want to talk about close-up. How many in the audience went to close-up? Anybody? Harry, you didn't go to close. I was in your class. You did? How'd you get out of practice?
Is that a makeup class? What is close-up?
That's true. I forgot
is that
about
a toothpaste?
Okay.
It's a makeup class. Huh?
Makeup?
Chuck and them do a great job at St. Martin and Bork of giving money to the community. Close-up
Okay,
is
explain
one
this
of those things, and we are going to play a little video of yesterday to give away a lot of money here in the parish.
So we're here today, like we've done every year for almost 30 years now, to make a donation to the Close-Up program to the local high schools that send kids to the program. First off, I want to thank the people that have come out today. They're the real heroes here, educators. I work with our high school kids who always need a lot of guidance and a lot of patience, and I see familiar faces. These are most of the folks here, people that dedicated a lifetime to educating our local students. So I do want to thank you all for that. Very excited that y'all also make the extra effort to send a group of kids to Close-Up every year. So this is something we do. Even in this, this year hadn't been the best year for everybody, so I'm glad the program is still going forward. And we're more than excited to hand out or make the donations this year. So with that being said, I'll go through and get everyone their donation. So I got Vanderbilt Catholic High School, South Terrebonne High School. They keep them in somewhat order. Nope, we're almost headed. H.L. Bourgeois, correct. And Terrebonne High School. Terrebonne, yep, I know that, Marty. And then Ellender High School. So again, thank you all for all that you do for our local students. I'm very happy to see y'all are still participating in and doing the Close-Up program. I'm sure this year, more than any others, the students are going to be glad to get away and have a little break. So thank y'all for all you do with the students, and again, we're glad that we can help out.
Doug Hamilton, Vanderbilt Catholic. I just want to say thank you to St. Martin and Bork for supporting us all these many years, and we look forward to a future partnership.
Blaze Pellegrin, South Terrebonne High School. I'd also like to thank them very much for all their help and support throughout the years.
Justin T. Ward from H.L. Bourgeois. I also want to say thank you to St. Martin and Bork for supporting our kids and paving the way for the future generation.
John Hazlitt, Ellender High School. Also want to say thank you for the donation to help these kids at Close-Up.
Marty Collins, Terrebonne High School. 40 years ago, Chuck Bork and I went on this trip to Close-Up, and it's a life-changing trip for these kids. So I appreciate St. Martin and Bork giving us some money so that we can help these kids get to Washington. This is Close-Up's 50th year, and they have sent over 1 million students to Washington, D.C. We call it a living classroom because they get to see firsthand government at work, meet with their congressional leaders from our state, get a behind-the-scenes tour of our beautiful capital, the city, all the monuments, the museums, that for the average visitor, these things are free in that city, but to send a high school kid there, it's a really life-changing event for them.
All right, there you have it. And I would feel terribly bad. I know it's not much, but just symbolic. Bobby, I'm going to give my $11 you donated to me, plus I'm going to give away your $9 that I owe you back. I'm going to give it to Chuck.
I agree. I agree with that. I'm all for that.
I knew you would agree to that. So, Chuck, thank you so much. You got the floor.
We appreciate it. And that's Bobby had asked a question, what is close-up? Big thing. It is a chance for high school kids to go to Washington, D.C. to see how our government works, see the process. They get an inside look at government, and it's an incredible experience for these kids. A lot of these kids that go on this trip, it's their first time leaving the state of Louisiana, leaving the local area. And that's what I've always said. When I was a senior in high school, I had an opportunity to do it. And the only reason I had the opportunity to do it was because of the generosity of others. Couldn't afford it at the time. My parents did everything to send me to school, but there were some folks at the high school I went to that made donations, allowed me to go. So it's exciting to be able to do this. And we got today with us, we've got John Hazlitt and Marty Collins here from Melander and Terrebonne. And I'll say the same thing I did on TV. The real heroes are these guys. Because a lot of people, you can be, one, you're a hero to teach high school and to work with the kids and do everything they got to do. Then they go to extra step to make sure their kids have an opportunity to participate in a great program such as Close Up.
Well, Chuck, anything that lasts is 50 years. I mean, that is awesome. I can remember having a government experience. You remember a boys' state, girls' state and all?
The penitentiary?
But this is on a, no, come on, Rich. You're from Pennsylvania. You don't know about this. We had boys and girls' state.
Whoa. That's why he's here and you're here.
But no, you had boys and girls' state that was local, like from a state perspective, Louisiana. This is like from a national perspective with the government. So
yeah. Sorry, Rich. You had Penn State, which was right across from the state pen, right?
It was right down the block. I used to pass it on the way in and always stop in and have lunch before.
All right, look, Archie yielded to Chet Chesson. Chet and entertained himself with Fouchon. Just give us a quick update. How y'all doing? Because as y'all go, the nation goes.
We're doing okay. Port Fouchon, we're happy to say that we talk a lot about resiliency throughout the years when we're giving presentations. And I think with the advent of Hurricane Ida coming in, we showed our resiliency because 9 days after the storm, we were loading vessels in Port Fouchon, getting things back up and running in the Gulf. So we're happy to have great leadership in our region with our parish president and everyone around assisting us. And we have great people, a great community, and we're proud to continue to move forward.
All right, as we go to the break, Archie, please stand up. Archie Chesson, parish president of Terrebonne. Tony Alford, stand up, Terrebonne Parish. Mart, stand up, represent Terrebonne Parish. Tony is the executive director of our levy district. President, I'm sorry.
You tell him, brother.
Wait, say that again. 0 deaths from Ida. 0. Let's give them a big round of applause. That's Lafourche and Terrebonne Parish. And I'm going to get to Tony in a second. He's done one heck of a job on the levy district and takes no per diem, no money.
And
give it back to the community.
Well, and I'm looking at Chuck. Look how nice Chuck looks. Chuck, just show the crowd that nice tie. Do y'all know, trivia question, why he has that tie on? Do y'all know why he has that tie on? I knew this from the get-go.
But Bobby will tell you.
No, I will tell you. The TCU Horned Frogs beat the Baylor Bears, and that's a lot of his money is going to TCU, and that's a big win. TCU beating Baylor. Is that right, Chuck? I know you have to be ecstatic with that win.
That's correct. It was, I'm an LSU guy. I still follow them, but I had 2 children go to TCU, and I followed the Horned Frogs over the year. Great program, great school, and it was a huge win. Baylor's one of their big rivals. And they had an opportunity to go out, and it was a big upset. Baylor was ranked number 12, I think, or 11, depending on the player.
Yeah, without their head coach now in the fold.
And TCU just let their head coach, their longtime head coach, go, and they went out there, stepped up to the plate, and got the big victory.
All right, tell them the truth as we go to a break. You got a $3 million case in Terrebonne Parish Court right after this show. We'll be right back.
In the aftermath of Hurricane Ida, insurance companies may try to pay you much less than your losses or even deny your claim altogether. St. Martin and Bork and Hoffest Duval are partnering together to help you during this difficult time. Our hurricane insurance recovery attorneys will fight for you and your loved ones. Go to myidaclaim.com for your free case review today. Never give up because your insurance company has denied your claim, and never accept a lowball offer. Let St. Martin and Bork and Hoffest Duval help you weather the storm. Visit myidaclaim.com today.
Leg pain, swelling, or ulcers can be signs of vascular disease in the legs. This lack of blood flow can lead to amputation if not treated. Varicose or spider veins may also be signs of venous disease and are more than just a cosmetic problem. Trust the most advanced team of leg pain specialists at Cardiovascular Institute of the South to reopen blockages in the legs and offer minimally invasive in-clinic vein treatments. If you experience leg pain, swelling, or have visible veins, schedule an appointment with us today at cardio.com.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. You'll remember Lafourche. And by St. Martin and Bourke, attorneys at law. Know your rights.
Sports on the Bayou corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, i.e. Terrebonne General Health Systems and their Community Sports Institute. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. And BioPure, disinfecting environmental services.
Now let's go back to Sports on the Bayou with Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Marty.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou. Martin, you got it.
Jack told me, Martin, I hadn't had TV time in a little while. You think you could work me in? I said, absolutely. We could work you in, Jack. All right, we're going to kick it up.
All right, Jack.
Look who's up there with Harry McCullough. Right. Coach Tim Rebo. He's a celebrity in his own right. And I tell you what, he goes to aisle 10 at Walgreens to get that white hair done, and I'm telling you, he is looking good. Harry, back to you.
He's a big Billy Idol fan. We need that mic, by the way, Mike.
It's like Kilns. Isn't that Kilns painted white?
Before we get started, do we have the whistle? I know the only person that doesn't have the whistle, Martin, right?
Right.
Do we have the whistle coming up?
We're blowing right through it again, Coach. Coach almost blew the whistle on you last time. Hey, of course, Coach Tim Rebo, you know, from the Colonels. Hey, great win this week, but what it did was set up 2 weeks to play and control your own destiny. So just to fill everybody in, the Colonels are now 4-2 in Southland. They play Incarnate Word this week, who's 5-1, Southeastern, who's 5-1 the following week. So 2 weeks against the top teams, but a chance to play your way into the championship.
Yeah, it was a big win on the road. It was a tough place to play. We hadn't won there in quite some time. So to get that win, you want to be playing, I talk with Mike and Bobby all the time about playing your best ball late in the year. You want to be doing that in November, and our guys are doing that right now. And we set us up. It's playoffs right now. Every week has been a playoff, and it's no different the next two.
Right, so we're looking at the highlights from the McNeese game. This, again, you mentioned a big game. It was in Lake Charles. They take an early lead on you, and you guys are not playing loose a little bit with the ball. You get 2 interceptions and a fumble, so you guys are moving the ball, but you're keeping them in the game.
The turnovers has plagued us all year, and we were very fortunate. Defense did a great job. You get 3 turnovers like that in the first half, and it was really a close game. So hats off to them, and then we turned it around in the second half. But throwing the picks, we can't do. We got down in the red zone 3 times, right. and then we turned the ball over, and you come away with no points.
Yeah, you're moving the ball up and down the field, but again, you're not getting it in the end zone. Colin Guggenheim, again, boy, this guy's come out of nowhere from you, but he actually gets in on the fumble, Ruski here, as he fumbles, and that was the 3rd of your 3 turnovers. But he does redeem himself. He goes over 100 yards and had a good game for you.
Former quarterback from John Curtis, wasn't really in the mix at running back. Was talking about redshirting him. Had a few injuries. He stepped up. He's gone for over 100 yards the last couple of weeks. Really tough bruising back.
There he is right there going in. He had 152 yards. Actually, check that. He had 125 yards and 2 touchdowns on the day. So, yeah, he's been a great find for you. J.K. Franklin, 14-yard pass here. Great catch there.
Colin Grenier came in relief a little bit of Lindsey Scott Jr. threw a great pass to KJ in the end zone.
And then McNeese comes right back, 4th and goal here. They go for it, and they get it. And that's Cody Orgeron getting a 4th down there, as LSU didn't get that 4th down, but they got the 4th down. So you're tied at 14, and now you really took over in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, the 4th quarter, we had the ball for over 10 minutes in the 4th quarter, and when you can keep it out of their hands, that time of possession was huge. Our big goal is to win the 4th quarter. We get 10 points and walk away with a really big 24-14 win.
This was a huge play, right? They're going for it, and they get the fumble right here, and Colonels get it. They were trying to tie the score, but you get it, you get a field goal late, and you go on to win it by the score of 24-14. So great win. And so let's talk about the next 2 weeks. So how do you?
The next 1 week. That's all we
actually, that's
first.
probably the way to do it, right?
Right.
The most important game is the next game, and it starts with Incarnate Word. They're a pretty good club, right?
Yeah, the quarterback threw for over 600 yards this past week. He's the National Player of the Week. He's really, really good. He was freshman of the year last year. We played him tough over there. We didn't play well in the second half. We were up 21-14. We ended up falling down there. But we feel like good coming home, good crowd. We're playing well. Ought to be a good ball game.
So you got your last game at Thibodeau, and then you go to Hammond.
Quick turnaround on Thursday.
Right.
So we'll play Saturday, quick turnaround on Thursday in Hammond.
How tough is that on your club?
Well, we've been doing it the last couple of years, so we know we got a routine down. It works for us. Get on the bus and go play the game.
Right, and they got to do it too.
Coach, you needed the jumper cables in the fourth quarter, so to speak, and you got it. Grenier comes in, he gives you a spark that you needed at that time. And nothing against Lindsey, but come on.
You got to protect the football.
You got to protect the ball, but you needed somebody to give you a spark, and I think Grenier did it for you.
Yeah, and look, it was really to take Lindsey out, Bobby, settle him down a little bit. Yep. Come stand on the side with us for a minute and see what's going on. Cohen just had it going, and the guys were playing and really led us to the victory.
Now, Coach Rebo, I don't know if I've ever witnessed a game how Southeastern lost a Incarnate Word. What is this, like a video game? They scored with 70 points?
Southeastern had over 100-something plays in the game. The time of possession was ridiculous, over 2-1, and then come back and lose the game.
But, Coach Rebo, I know this is never a winning formula. You don't want this to happen to your team. I don't know if I've ever witnessed this. McNeese had 13 penalties for 179 yards.
Yeah.
What?
Listen, I'm proud of us. Really disciplined on our end. Led us to the victory.
All right, Mike.
We'll be back with more sports on the Bayou.
Over the years, Louisiana's Cajun Bayou has seen more than its fair share of challenges. We're no strangers to adversity, and we know what it's like to struggle. These are unprecedented times, and while people will say this time is like nothing they've ever seen, we've heard that before, and just like all the other times, we'll get through this. Remember the good times. Remember Lafouche.
Curtis Calais Welding has been providing contract labor for the offshore oil and gas industry for over 28 years. Curtis Calais Welding is now hiring. All applicants must have a TWIC card and be able to pass an occupational medical exam and a drug screen. Triple C Towing has a fleet of 2 inland tugs to provide service for the oil and gas industry. All vessels are provided with experienced personnel, and we do what we say we will do. Curtis Calais Welding, now hiring, and Triple C Towing, ready to work.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. You'll remember Lafouche. And by St. Martin and Bourke, attorneys at law. Know your rights. Sports on the Bayou corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, i.e. Terrebonne General Health Systems and their Community Sports Institute. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. And BioPure, disinfecting environmental services. Now let's go back to Sports on the Bayou with Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Marty.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou. Stan Gravois does a great job each and every week covering the high school ranks, and we're going to go to his package.
The regular season of high school football is in the books. Who's in and who's out related to the playoffs? Hi everybody, I'm Stan Gravois. We're going to take a look back at Week 10, the end of the regular season for high school football, and we'll let you know who's in the playoffs and preview those games in this week's High School Football Report. At Pelche Stadium in Thibodeau, it was a punishing run game by E.D. White that helped them to bulldoze the St. James Wildcats. Here's Jeffrey Dietrich on a big run, one of his many. He had 208 yards rushing in the game, and oh, by the way, he's just a sophomore. And here's Jace Groh in the third quarter. He breaks one for another touchdown. Cardinals finished the season undefeated. They defeat St. James 28-19. In Napoleonville, South Lafouche scored early behind the running of Brody Petrie. and then rode the arm of Patrick Gisclair, who became the all-time passing leader in South Lafourche history as the Tarpons held off Assumption High School in a thriller. Final score 42-28. Vanderbilt Catholic cruised out to a 38-0 lead over Morgan City on Friday night. Another good night for Jalen Coleman. The Terriers also got strong play from their quarterback Dominique Archella, as Vanderbilt Catholic is your 8-4A champion. And Ellender's Orion James, a Louisiana Tech commit at the wide receiver position, hauls in this pass with 20 seconds left from Caden Atkins as Ellender goes on to beat South Terrebonne by a point. Some other scores from the area. Hornville shuts out Terrebonne. In a battle of two teams headed in different directions, HL Bourgeois secures its first winning season in over 15 years. Central Lafourche winless in 2 years. And Thibodeau's bid to get in the playoffs comes up short as Destrehan shuts out the Tigers 35-0. And now we're going to take a look at the first round of the high school playoffs. First, we'll start with 5A football. Destrehan 6-0 taking on a 4-3 West Jeff team. Destrehan really good and well rested. West Jeff, of their 4 wins this year, the teams that they have beat have 5 combined wins. So look for Destrehan to roll in this one. Number 21 Hornville going to be traveling up north to take on number 12 Benton. Hornville has only been giving up about 3 points a game since that opening loss to Destrehan, so the Tigers are playing really good defense, but Benton is a really good team. They defeated Barb this year. They also defeated Houghton, and their losses have come to Captain Shreve and to Bird, so it's going to be a tough one for Hornville up in Benton. And number 23, HL Bourgeois in the playoffs in 5A football. They're going to be taking on Santamar, the number 10 seed. Santamar really good at 7-2. One of those losses came to Catholic High of Baton Rouge, who is the power in the state of Louisiana. So not going to be easy for the Braves, but yet a terrific season. Anything can happen. The Braves are going up to Santamar to play this one. Let's hope they can come back with a win. And in 4A football, the feel-good story all across the state of Louisiana is South Lafourche High School, the number 14 seed, taking on the number 19 seed Opelousas at home, folks. That's right, at home at Memorial Stadium in Galliano. What a terrific night that's going to be. The entire Bayou Lafourche community has come together to get that stadium ready to go. The Tarpons are going to be ready to play, and folks, they have a great chance of winning this game. Opelousas only 5-5, and the competition not very good that they beat this year. So look for the Tarpons on a sky-high night to come out of this one with a big win. Also in 4A football, it'll be Assumption High School traveling to Leesville to take on the number 12 Wampus Cats. Just a week ago, we thought Assumption would be hosting, but after that big loss to South Lafourche this week, going to be on the road, and it's going to be a tough one because Leesville, a very good football team, and a long travel for the Mustangs. Let's hope that Coach Menard and his group can come up with a win there. And just getting into the bracket was number 30, Ellender High School. They're going to have to travel to the New Orleans area to take on Warren Easton. Warren Easton 7-2, and when you consider those 2 losses came to Carr High School, and then earlier in the year, the other was to Catholic High School. It's going to be a tough road to hoe for the Patriots. Nonetheless, anything can happen in the playoffs. And in the Division II bracket, a huge congratulations to E.D. White Catholic. As we mentioned earlier, they finished the season undefeated. They are the number 1 seed. The number 2 seed, University Lab, at the bottom of the bracket. They also receive a bye. E.D. White's going to be sitting around this week waiting for the winner out of Parkview Baptist and St. Michael's, where they will play in the second round next week. Vanderbilt Catholic is the number 6 seed in Division II. They'll be taking on St. Louis Catholic, the number 11 seed. St. Louis only 3-4 on the year, struggled most of the year. Vanderbilt will be playing at home. Look for the Vanderbilt Terriers to come out with a victory and move on to the second round. And in Division IV football, Central Catholic goes in as the number 8 seed. They'll be at home, but they'll be taking on number 9 Ascension Catholic, who only has 1 loss this year. Look for it to be a tough one for the Central Catholic Eagles. And finally, for all of you who didn't realize it, you can play bowl games in high school football in Louisiana if you declare not to be in the playoffs or if your team doesn't make the playoffs. That's exactly what Homer Christian is doing. They'll be traveling up to the Baton Rouge area to take on Central Private in the Fellowship Bowl.
We'll be back with more Sports on the Bayou.
Was your business interrupted by Hurricane Ida? You may be entitled to compensation. Insurance companies may try to pay you much less than your losses, or even deny your claim altogether. St. Martin and Bork and Hoffest Duval are partnering together to fight for your fair payout. Go to myidaclaim.com for your free case review today. Never give up because your insurance company has denied your claim, and never accept a lowball offer. Let St. Martin and Bork and Hoffest Duval help you weather the storm. Visit myidaclaim.com today.
Bacteria and germs run rampant in the air that surrounds us. It's more important than ever to keep our surroundings clean. Introducing BioPure. Specializing in commercial and residential disinfection applications, BioPure's advanced treatment process allows them to disinfect more surfaces quickly and effectively, with no inconvenience to staff or family members. Let BioPure help you create a better environment for everyone. Call for your free consultation today at 985-322-3003.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. You'll remember Lafourche. And by St. Martin and Bork, attorneys at law. Know your rights. Sports on the Bayou corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, i.e. Terrebonne General Health Systems and their Community Sports Institute. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Alford & Associates for all of your insurance needs. And BioPure, disinfecting environmental services. Now let's go back to Sports on the Bayou with Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Marty.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou. Dr. Pat is in the house.
Asking all them questions. Why you asking all them questions? Making statements. Asking all them questions.
Let's give the floor to our Doctor of Curiosity and the voice of the people,
right
Dr. Pat Hagen.
About them Cardinals. Why you asking all them questions? Making statements.
And I know y'all do a good job with the high school sports, but I'm happy for South Lafourche, what they've been through, and be able to make the playoffs.
And have a host of a home game in Galliano.
I don't know if he even knows this, but Patrick Gisclair broke the single-season passing record, yardage-wise, at South Lafourche, and now he is also the all-time passing yardage leader
deservingly
in South Lafourche history. So he broke your record?
Broke my record. If we threw for 100 yards, this was a lot. Coach Perry, he said if we can't run, we suck. You know, we were gonna get 3 yards in a cloud of dust. We're like, well, you know.
I knew it wasn't yours that he broke.
The thing is, I don't care how fast the team is. If they don't have the ball, they can't score.
That's the White philosophy.
If I would throw 10 times, it was a lot. I'm telling you. You know,
and Patrick throws 10 times and a half.
Right. No, I'm proud of Patrick. I'm going to go witness the game in Galliano against Opelousas. You know, his grandma's my dad's sister.
Of course.
So there's a little gene pool in there. There's a little bit going on there.
So one question for each of y'all is that, Mike, do you know of who are the recruits around here that are high school players that may go to local colleges or big colleges? And Bobby, I noticed in the first half last week, there were a lot of passes that were almost completed by the Saints, but not quite, guys slipping on routes. Can you talk about how it is for a new quarterback, and should you have that timing down with the receivers, or does that take time?
You go.
Well, no, timing. How about timing? If it hits in your hands, catch it. I mean, ain't no timing. I mean, it might be a difficult catch, but you're an NFL receiver. You got to catch the ball. You got to help out Trevor Siemian.
Right.
Trevor Siemian is not the problem. Now, Coach Payton's going to keep the Titans off balance. It's a week-to-week thing, whether he's going to go with Taysom Hill or Trevor Siemian. But now, not having Michael Thomas in the lineup, they want Taysom Hill, the jack of all trades.
Right.
And he might get more opportunities. Maybe I'd say I want Taysom in there on a two-point player in the red zone more quarterback opportunities. But Trevor Siemian hasn't done anything not to be the quarterback come Sunday.
So you like what you see?
I agree.
Yes, he's not the problem. Trevor Siemian is a pro. He's a pro's pro. He's prepared. He knows what he's doing. And I don't
why
have
are you
any
going to
problem.
go at to help your receiving core today?
You got Odell? I don't know.
Man, I think with Odell, the situation is, I think the Saints have an interest, but at their price.
Oh, without a doubt.
Somebody else may say, hey, Odell, we can give you more money than the Saints.
Like the Seahawks.
And because his mother told me this, Heather, that he has worked in the offseason with Russell Wilson. So there's a connection there. And Russ, I think, has the ear of Pete Carroll, who wants to keep Russ in Seattle.
If I'm the receiver coach for the Saints, those receivers are catching 200 balls a day until the next game, because that's all. If they get on track and just catch half of those balls,
They look like they couldn't catch COVID.
That's a bunch of crap.
All of
You
a
go
sudden,
catch some balls and
Trevor Siemian's throwing over 70%. He's around 300 yards, and he just catch the ball.
Right. I mean,
let me tell you about Odell. Let me tell you about Odell as we go to the break. I don't know why his dad put that 11-minute film out there about Baker's not throwing him the ball. You can make an 11-minute film of the drop passes he's had with the Giants and the Browns. Right. Yours like catching the ball in your hands. I'm just keeping it real.
Over the years, Louisiana's Cajun Bayou has seen more than its fair share of challenges. We're no strangers to adversity, and we know what it's like to struggle. These are unprecedented times, and while people will say this time is like nothing they've ever seen, we've heard that before. And just like all the other times, we'll get through this. Remember the good times. Remember Lafouche.
Are you looking for a new or used vehicle? Well, come check us out at Barker Honda, because we get new, updated inventory daily. We're offering top dollar for your trade.
Give us the opportunity to buy your car.
We offer new and used financing.
Come check out our award-winning trucks.
For cars, trucks, SUVs, come check us out.
Our sales specialists can help find the vehicle just for you.
We're getting new inventory daily.
Come down and see us on Martin Luther King Boulevard in Holman. Always remember,
it's better at Barker.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. You'll remember Lafouche. And by St. Martin and Bourke, attorneys at law. Know your rights. Sports on the Bayou corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, i.e. Terrebonne General Health Systems and their Community Sports Institute. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. And BioPure, disinfecting environmental services. Now let's go back to Sports on the Bayou with Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Marty.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou. Before I throw it to Martin, we always here to promote local players. If you watch the end of the Purdue game when they played Michigan State, the guy that had the walk-off sack is a guy Stan highlighted many times at Thibodeau High School, DeMarcus Mitchell. He played quarterback, running back, wide receiver. He played defensive line in the secondary at Thibodeau High School, goes to JUCO, and now he is being seriously considered to get an invite to the Senior Bowl in
Good
Mobile.
for him.
And he had the walk-off sack to beat unbeaten Michigan State team.
Does Tucker now come to LSU?
I think Mel Tucker's the guy.
Yeah.
I'm convinced of that.
Well, Mike, because it's kind of like Jimbo Fisher or Mel Tucker kind of right now.
Jimbo Fisher, come on, he's playing you. Go ahead, Bob.
Texas A&M got a lot of money, I know that.
We have our solid waste director, Clay Knockan, and he brought half of his crew today. He's going to bring half next week. But I want to give him a round of applause from this audience, because one of the biggest jobs after Hurricane Ida, and Archie will attest to it also in Lafouche Parish, is picking up trash and garbage. They have had their hands full, but let me tell you, they have done a knockout job. So before I get a few words, can we give Clay a round of applause? Clay. And Clay, the reason we invited you and your ladies here, because y'all have done a knockout job, and sometimes it's a thankless job, but thank you all for what y'all do.
Thank you, Martin. We've collected over 2 million cubic yards on parish right-of-ways, and we've still got a little bit to go. But these are my office staff here, my office manager, Christy Elena, and administrative assistant, Kelly Odimont. They're the ones that get all the blame for the trash not getting picked out of the yard, but they get all the calls and all the so I wanted to bring them here to have a little pleasure instead of having all the BS getting toward through them.
And look, we said going to the break. Some people complain about they got to go to that garbage can and the smell's so bad. They still got people living in tents in these parishes. So before you complain about an awful smell, go back to the roof and the bed you live in and get a good night's rest. All right, Mike, back
Thank you, Martin. And thank you so much for what you guys are doing. We'll be back with more sports on the Bayou.
Over the years, Louisiana's Cajun Bayou has seen more than its fair share of challenges. We're no strangers to adversity, and we know what it's like to struggle. These are unprecedented times, and while people will say this time is like nothing they've ever seen, we've heard that before. And just like all the other times, we'll get through this. Remember the good times. Remember Lafouche.
For years, Tony Alford and Priscilla Larpenter have been the foundation of what is now Alford & Associates. Their passion and vision have been embedded company-wide. It's about making sure that our community is strong and protected for the next generation.
I have such respect and pride for our company, and I'm excited to bring new and innovative ideas to our clients.
It's quite simple. It's the mindset of our organization to protect you from life's hardships.
Your benefits are our business.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. You'll remember Lafouche. And by St. Martin and Bourke, attorneys at law. Know your rights. Sports on the Bayou corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, i.e. Terrebonne General Health Systems and their Community Sports Institute. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Alford & Associates for all of your insurance needs. And BioPure, disinfecting environmental services. Now let's go back to Sports on the Bayou with Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Marty.
Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week with another version of Sports on the Bayou.
Who dat?
Who dat?